Welcome to another edition of the Eye on Life podcast. I'm your host, Brian Boyer, and this is the special allergy edition of the show. Head is not feeling great. Congestion is set in. Feeling like absolute garbage early today when we're taping the show. But I know that one of the best cures for an allergy is talking to Jen Collings, who is a repeat guest. Jen, welcome to the show. It's go time for us, and
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming back. As I always say, I say this all the time. Whenever I get a repeat guest on, I'm glad. It's like when I used to coach youth baseball.
Yep.
And I would have a kid on my team, and I would see him back the next year, either on my team or another team. And I'm like, good. I didn't ruin the kid. I didn't shatter his experience playing baseball. So it's kind of the same thing with the show. It's one of those things where when guests come back, it either it means actually one of two things. I shouldn't assume anything. It means they either enjoyed the conversation and they're back for that because it was engaging and fun, which I hopefully, or it's pity that they're like, let's throw this guy a bone. He obviously needs it.
I don't know, Brian, after my naked comment the last time, I figured I'd never hear from you again. Like,
or you'd hear from me the next day. One of the two.
Right.
Jen is a repeat guest, and I don't remember what number show that was, but check it out. It was a great show. That was a great tease, actually. There was a comment about nudity that could have very well been taken out of context. But fortunately, I did not take it out of context.
Right. Exactly.
So it's all good, but it's really great to have you back. Again, Eye on Life podcast, Jen Collings. Believe Your Truth, and it's believeyourtruth.com. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but I do want to just go back to the whole allergy thing.
Yeah.
So here's the thing.
As I sit here rubbing my nose, I'm all itchy.
My nose is it's like a sieve here. It's like it's running like crazy.
Yeah, this year's bad.
But here's the thing. There are certain, and I'm not going to get into everything that I feel is in people's minds.
Yeah.
I feel like there are things in life that are in people's minds. You know, they get to a point like, oh yeah, I have allergies. Like I'm going to use allergies as an example.
Okay.
Because for years I never got allergies, and I thought that allergies, they don't really exist. They're in people's minds. Get over it. It's an allergy. I want to apologize for anybody that I may have ever belittled or undermined because of allergies. Because I'm going through it right now. I woke up a couple nights ago. It was like 3:00 in the morning. And like after you've gone out drinking,
mm-hmm.
Not that I really go out drinking anymore, but after you've had a few drinks and you wake up and you have that, it's like people call it cotton mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was so far beyond cotton mouth.
Or back in the day when they allowed smoking in bars and clubs, you'd come home and you would have that. Oh, yeah.
Your eyes are all red.
If you have any young listeners, they have no idea what that even means. Smoking in a
should.
bar.
That's
good.
Disgusting.
That's good.
Absolutely
horrible.
Disgusting. But so are you? So I guess now I could be classified as an allergy person. Are you an allergy person? Do you get them badly too?
Yeah, unfortunately, I have been my whole life. But my husband's like you. He never had allergies, and then he came over here to the U.S. He's originally from England.
Right.
He came over here, and it was just like game on for him, and he just, he hates it. But I think this year is definitely, I was just, before we got on and started recording, I was saying, usually the cars are all a lovely lime green color this time of year, but I've never seen our pool have a layer of yellow. This is the first year. So it's horrible.
It is horrible. And I feel like I don't think I have a cold. I feel like I have a cold, but it's not. It's the allergies. And I haven't shut I like to sleep with my windows open. Oh. I like the fresh air. I like the breeze. I actually like the noises that you sometimes hear at night.
Yeah.
It didn't really help, obviously, but I did shut the window last night, and I still feel like garbage.
Oh yeah, it's horrible, and the tiredness that comes with it too, which is weird because you wouldn't think allergies would make you tired, but
no, it makes a little bit. Anyway, so that's usually I go on a little. That's my rant, I guess. I don't even have the energy to go on a rant today. People are gonna be like, "What's wrong? Are you okay?"
Give us a couple more minutes. Come on.
We'll find something. You know why? Yeah. I'm not going on a rant because I'm going to believe my truth today. So believeyourtruth.com. You're listening to the Eye on Life podcast. We have Jen Collings with us. I don't know why I have to keep saying repeat guest. I can just say guest. Nobody needs to know it's a repeat, but I do like builds credibility for the show.
There you go.
Tell us. So when we talk about Believe Your Truth and believeyourtruth.com, that's the website, obviously. And I know you mentioned this on the first show, but let's just lay the groundwork. What does Believe Your Truth mean?
Yeah. So Believe Your Truth is basically believing in who you are, who you were born to be, and living that life. and I coach people, I empower them, and I help train their mindset to get them, because again, we talk about all this negativity in the world. So I get them to look at things more positively and not be afraid to step out of their comfort zone and live the life they want to live. Take that career change, make that next step in life that they've wanted to for a while, but something's been holding them back. So that's believing your truth. It's believing in who you are and just going for it.
So I think that, and I don't want to. I want to make sure I describe you correctly, because I know you do a lot. I know you're a speaker.
Yeah.
You speak. You have a lot of speaking engagements to talk about this. You have. I know you do kind of have that life coaching piece. I actually think you're more of a. I don't cheerleader. I don't want to minimize what you do, but you are. But everything I read on you, you're like a life cheerleader, because seriously.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Well, when I see you on social media, I actually, if I'm feeling down, I'm like, that's a good point. I like that. I like what she says on that. So it's actually very helpful.
Thank you. I love that. Life cheerleader. I'm going to add that to my bio.
But
love it.
But not in an annoying way.
Yeah, no, I can be raw. Yeah.
We all knew that. We all knew that that cheerleader in high school who was always happy, who you just wanted to sometimes say, shut up.
Yeah, take it down a notch.
Take it down a couple notches. I don't have any patience for you or your energy today. But, good for them for bringing the energy and bringing the cheer. But so you do that. But so so the last time we spoke,
yep,
it turned into a little bit of a therapy session for me, which God knows I needed it.
It's great.
I have to say, but I have been feeling a little grumpy lately.
Okay, that's okay.
And so, and I think that there's a lot of variables in life right now. I have the allergies, so I don't feel great because the allergies are killing me. My kids are constantly bothering me. Do you remember that movie? Do you remember that movie, The Money Pit?
Yes.
It was Tom Hanks. And what was her name? I think wasn't she Diane? Wasn't she Diane on Cheers? Shelley.
I can't remember her name. Sorry.
Shelley Winters, maybe. I don't know.
I can't remember.
But it was about it. But it was Tom Hanks, right? I'm thinking the right movie.
Mm-hmm.
And The Money Pit was the house, right? They bought a beautiful house in the suburbs, and it was just an absolute disaster. That's the wrong theme, though. Kids are the money pit.
Well, I mean, our house is a money pit right now too. It seems like we have these things that just hit you. Like my husband said it the other day. It's like just these crazy expenses you never think about. But kids,
it's
my youngest just turned 6. So let me tell you, money pit, her birthday list.
Everything, and they might even be the reason why there is money that needs to be spent on the house. But my kids, with my kids, it's food. It's always, and I've complained about this before on the show. They tell me what they want for lunch. I get it, and then they still don't want it.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so that bothers me. Just in general, I just sort of feel like I've been in a little bit of a funk lately. We're very transparent on the show, and I'm trying to get out of it. I'm trying to be positive, but this past weekend I was very grumpy. I acted like a little bit of a jerk a couple times. I wasn't happy about that. Wasn't great with my kids, some friends of mine. I just didn't really feel like interacting with anyone.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm alone in that, but nonetheless. So let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
I actually do have a question here.
It's okay.
How do I, and I know there are a lot of people that are feeling the same way these days. How do you get out of that? How do you get out of, I always talk about getting out of your own way.
Yeah.
I want to get out of my own way, after this past weekend. Easier said than done, but how do you do that?
No, it's hard. I don't know if you saw one of my posts I was talking about. I think I put it on TikTok. I was just having a week, man. I fell down 3 flights of three stairs and bruised my butt. Yeah, like horrible. And then the next day I'm washing the dishes and I totally ripped my nail completely off. So it happens. And then, that kind of stuff just puts us in a bad mood, and it's just, there's 2 ways it can go. It can either go real crappy and you can let that funk and that anger just take you over, or you can look at everything and go, you know what? Life isn't that bad. Yeah, I've got allergies. I'll pop a Claritin. Kids are always going to be an issue. I mean, I have days where I'm like, why did I want to be a mom? This is just so hard. I've gone and sat in my car and cried. There's just days where it's like, you don't think a 6 and an 8-year-old can do that to you, but man, they can bring you to your knees, Brian. So it's just about seeing the really good things, you know, and it's like, I laugh because my 6-year-old, as tough as she is, man, she makes me look at life differently because she's the one that brings me out in the yard like 5 times a day to go look at all the new flowers that have bloomed.
Right.
Or she'll tell me to stop and look up at the sunset because it's beautiful. And, you know, just simple things like that. And it's hard because, like you said, you're in your own way and you're just on this, like, I'm stomping my feet all day and I'm not going to adult. Oh, wait, stop. I'm breathing and things really aren't that crappy, you know? So
Right.
I think it's that. It's those moments where you have to look at the crap and you have to say, I see you and I'm acknowledging you, but I'm going to change my focus and I'm going to think more about the good stuff in my life. You know, so it's not like you're not accepting that you're having a bad day. Yeah, accept it. Totally. We are human beings and we have so many different emotions and we are allowed to feel them, but it's whether or not you're going to let yourself get stuck there.
Well, so I want to ask you one comment and then kind of one question, because I do the car thing. I don't usually go into the car. I don't usually leave the house to go into the car.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I'm coming back from someplace, I stay in the car. There's a commercial right now with a woman, I forgot, it's a car commercial, obviously, I think. And her family gets out of the car. She sits there and she just like lies back and is listening to music. And I've done that sometimes too.
Yeah.
I just keep the car on. And, you know, some days I'm like, oh, come on, carbon monoxide. Come on, kick it. No, I'm kidding. I'm not really. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't really feel that way. But it is sometimes hard to get out of that funk. I'm not one of those people, you know, and here I understand perspective, like what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of those people that gets up and I know that when I'm having a bad day, I know that there are other people that are having much worse days.
Mm-hmm.
I know that, I get that. And I can look at my life and say, you know what? As my nose is like running here, I have my tissues. That's bothering me. Here. But I can look at my life. Thank you. Yeah, I wish. See, I'm annoyed that my nose is running.
Yeah.
But I feel like, so I understand that. But I'm not one of these people that wakes up in the morning and says, oh, I'm breathing today. Or I wake up and, oh, I don't have cancer. Now, right. I understand that there are people that are sick, that have disease. I understand that. And trust me, I'm sensitive to that, and that could be me. And I know that, you know, I look at my kids and they're bothering me, but they're healthy and they're smiling, and that, you know, that gives me some warmth. Mm-hmm. But there are some times where the smiles on my kids' face is not enough to make me happy.
I hear you.
Their health, although I'm very happy that they're healthy, is not enough to make me say, oh, everything's okay. So when you're in that I'll say it, that I don't want to be dramatic here, but you say that dark place.
Yep.
What you're saying makes sense, but I feel like it's easier said than done. How do you refocus, pivot, and get out of it? Or do you have any like strategies that people can use?
Well, this is going to sound hysterical, but for me, when I'm in the throw of it with my kids, because believe me, it's so hard to make yourself say, you're the adult, stop yelling and stop arguing with them because they're kids. It's hard.
Right.
So what I've learned to do, and a friend of mine that I used to work with taught me this, is she said, Jen, put yourself in a timeout. If you cannot stop yourself because they're not listening and they're going to get hurt, like just look at them and say, and I've done this many times and now they know, I say, you know what? You're not in trouble, but mommy needs a timeout. And that's when I've gone and I've sat in my car or I've gone for a walk. You know, my husband's home with them, so it's not like I'm leaving them alone, but it's like, I need time to gather myself, and I may come back in a bad mood still, but that anger, that intense moment that we were having or that I was having inside of me, I'm able to kind of bring that down a little bit so I can be a little bit happier and kind of just be me again. Because look, we all have moments of rage. We all have moments of that darkness. We all have, you know, questionable emotions. But when you're able to say, you know what, I need a timeout. I am taking time for me. It's called self-care and self-love. There's a lot of those words going around these days, right? That's part of it. You know, self-care and self-love, it's not about going to buy a new pair of shoes, although I love retail therapy. I am a woman, you know, or getting my nails done or getting a massage. It's about taking time for me. And if I need to take a time out to go sit in my car or go for a walk or a bike ride or just go turn on some really loud music or whatever it is that's going to like calm me down, that's what you need to do. I can't give you, what's going to work for you because you know. So whatever works for you, if you want to go sit in your car and listen to music, go for it. Like whatever you need to do to get yourself out of that moment that you're in, that's what you need to do. But you need to remember it's okay to say, I need a time out. I'm going to stop adulting right now and take a time out, and I'm going to breathe through this and I'm going to figure it out and just ride through the moment and then say, okay, now I can get back to life.
I love the idea of putting myself in timeout. I will say this, that my kids will follow me into the timeout and continue to bother me. That's what will happen. But nonetheless, but I do like the idea. But no, but if you state it that way, though, that is actually a tactic that could potentially work.
Yeah.
You mentioned the word. This is really. I'm going to be very honest here. It's allergies. I know. It's allergies. I'm going to be very. I'm going to make a very honest comment here. And I've had conversations with many friends, about this. But I always remember. But this was before I had kids, and you use the word rage.
Mm-hmm.
And, I always remember before I had kids, you'd see these stories in the news about people harming their children.
Mm.
And you would be like, oh my God, how could anyone ever do that to their kids? And then when you have kids, and I want to be very clear here, I'm a protector of my children. I have never laid a hand on my children. I never will lay a hand on my children. But now, after you've had kids, when you see these stories, not that you would condone it. I want to be very, please don't call it DCF, right?
Right.
I'm not saying that, but if somebody's already a little off anyway,
yep,
you can almost see how there are times where you feel like you want to take your kid and throw them out the window.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to. We function hopefully mentally in a normal way.
Exactly.
But if somebody's a little off, you can almost see the rage taking them over, and you can almost, again, not condone it by any means, but see how it could possibly be a recipe for disaster.
It's
really
hard.
scary.
It is hard because they push you to the brink. I have no patience to begin with. So having a 6-year-old, and I'm going to use Lily as my example because she's, I have my Angel, who's my 8-year-old, who you tell her something once and she doesn't do it and she gets it. And then there's Lily, who's like, basically she's, 6 living in a 35-year-old body, thinking she knows exactly what's going on. And she's already told me she's moving to Los Angeles, by the way. So
in the future, or like age 7, she's moving to Los Angeles.
I have no idea. Okay. I'm just waiting for the moving trucks to come one day and surprise the heck out of me. I'm just like, whatever. Okay.
At least she has a plan. She has a vision. She has a plan. That works.
Totally. Yes.
She's,
she told me California, and I said, oh, really? Where in California? Thinking she had, no idea. She goes, Los Angeles, Mom. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right, but that's this child's attitude. She just pushes and pushes and pushes. And it's beautiful because she questions everything. But at the same time, it's like, you're thinking, I'm the adult, like, because I said so. And I used to hate when my mom said that to me. And I am now my mother because I said so, because I'm the adult, because I know better, but you start to feel this like, and that's when I say, you know what, mommy needs a timeout. Mommy needs a timeout.
Exactly. And my kids do the same thing. I have my son's birthday's by the time the show tapes it, drops, it will not be tomorrow, but he's 12.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And then my other son will be 15 in August.
So you've got it good.
Well, yeah. And so here's the thing, 2 boys, right? And I try to explain to them, I'm 46 years old. I do have a few more years of experience than you do. There are things you don't know. And one of the things, and this is such a little thing, but it really irks me, is I went to Whole Foods the other day, and my younger son he was really, they get really hungry. So they want these mass quantities of food. And I know from myself and from past experience that it's too much. Mm-hmm. They're not going to finish it. And then it's going to sit in the refrigerator. I'm not going to eat it. And then it just sits there, and I've now wasted, $20.
Yeah.
No. I promise I'll eat it. I'm so hungry. I haven't eaten anything. And I say to them every time, I said, you say this every time. I understand through life experience that you're not going to finish the chicken, rice, and broccoli that you got at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
And then I get, I mean, and I know, again, people could sit here and say that's what you're getting angry about, but it's just little things like that add up that bother me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, we know more than you do.
Yeah.
We just do. Here's my rant. See, this is the energy that I have for the day.
I knew it was coming.
Your 6-year-old sounds like as sharp as a tack. You know more than she does. I'm sorry, you do, and so do I. Right? I hope so. I mean, if I don't know more than a 14-year-old, then I've got problems.
Exactly.
So I want to pivot. We've talked a lot about kids, and we're talking to Jen Collings, life coach, speaker. You can find all information believeyourtruth.com. Let's talk about the adults for a little bit.
Okay.
Because sometimes I think the kids sometimes get it more than the adults. But we're sort of pivoting, we're pivoting back here now, into society. It's like we have to recalibrate. We're relaunching ourselves into society, right? We've been on this, whatever you want to call it, quarantine, isolation, whatever, and everybody sort of treated that how they feel comfortable. Some people have been a little more liberal about it. Yep. Other people have literally, lived in their basement, right, for the past year now. So we're getting back into society, and that's an adjustment, right? There are a lot of people that haven't really had a lot of interaction, and there are people that even when they've had a lot of interaction with people, they're still not that great at it. let's just be real.
Exactly.
So I imagine that probably a lot of the people that you talk to who need kind of the guidance are probably talking to you about that, that again, I'm calling it that relaunch into society. Yeah. What are you telling them as far as that adjustment? And again, I know it's a big question. There's a lot of, in what situations, right? With your friends, with coworkers, if you're out at a restaurant interacting with, the staff at the restaurant. But what are you kind of telling people as far as building them back up to go out into society and function?
Yeah. It's, I think this past year's built a lot of fears in people. Just because, going out, they don't know who to trust. They don't, this information's coming at you. That information is coming at you. And the main thing I say is, look, just be transparent, and not just now, just every single day of your life, be open and honest. If you're uncomfortable with something, be honest. And I had to do that the other day. We went for a bike ride, and we went past my daughter's best friend's house, and there ended up being an impromptu play date. And I'm one of those people, because I had COVID. I've been very nervous being out and about, and, my kids are still here. We're doing the remote learning from school, and her best friend's in school. So there was this fear that hit me, like, okay, well, she's out doing stuff. We're still not, but I have to let my kids get back to normal somehow. Right? So slowly, we're doing this slowly. And both my husband and I, we talk very openly about it all the time, just because we both have different worries and concerns, and we want to make sure we're on the same page. And I said to her mom, look, Savannah can come over, she can play, but they're going to be outside. Like, it's a beautiful day. I want them outside. I really don't want her in the house too much. I apologize. And her mom, thank God, she understood, because there's a lot of people that don't understand. But the main thing is, be true to your feelings and your values and your morals, and be honest with yourself so you can be honest with other people. And that's the main thing. So like, if you're good, your office is all of a sudden opening up and you're worried about it, talk to your supervisor. I've had one of my clients was very worried about this. And I said, look, talk to your supervisor and see if you can do for the next month, 2 days from home, 3 days at work. Or if you can do 1 week at work, 1 week home, just for the next month. And then, you're getting yourself back into it. You're easing yourself back into it. Because it's basically like we're all going back out onto this big stage in the spotlight, and we're all going to have butterflies, and we're all going to be nervous. But as long as we can be open and talk about it and not feel guilty for having these feelings, that's going to be key during the next few months, because we're all going to, every time something new comes along that we haven't done in the past year and a half, we're going to have these weird emotions pop up. So as long as we're transparent with ourselves and with others that we're in this kind of circle with, that's totally key.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm, I'm not going to be a hypocrite here and say that I don't judge people or judge things. I try not to, but I think we all do to an extent. and so I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't ever do that, but I will say that when it comes to COVID, I really, let me just, one thing I will say is I don't know where you are on this, so we might be getting no discussion here. I'm not saying this to you, I'm saying this in general. Get the vaccine. I mean, please get the vaccine at least. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
People should be getting the vaccine, but I will say that but other than that, as people are transitioning, you talk about easing the transition. I do think that I do respect how people feel. I do. And I think that we all need to do that. I think that if somebody feels like they want to go out to a restaurant and pretty much live life normally,
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with that. If somebody says, you know what, when I go out, I want to continue wearing a mask, or somebody says to me, I prefer I'm still not ready to go out yet. I respect that too. I have absolutely no judgment on that. The only judgment I kind of have is, just to protect yourself and others, get the vaccine. The anti-vaxxers drive me absolutely out of my mind. I'm sorry if you are one. I apologize for that.
No, I'm not an anti-vaxxer at all. Oops, kids' alarms going off for school. I'm not an anti-vaxxer at all, but because of the situation that I'm in, I've been told not to get the vaccine just yet.
And I get that. There are circumstances. I'm saying people that just decide not to get it just for no reason.
No. And I think that's one of the main things is like, look, we're all entitled to our own opinion about it. But when you have a medical condition that's not allowing you to get the vaccine,
of course,
other people shouldn't, it upsets me for this reason, because I'm on, some COVID forums. When people say they can't get it for a medical reason, and then somebody comes after you and says, oh, well, you don't believe in science. It's like, look, science is telling me I'm sick. Well, I can't get it, And so those people, I feel so bad for them,
Agreed.
But I also, as soon as I get cleared, I'm getting it. We want to start traveling again. We want to start, living our life again as much as we can, still being cautious because there are other variants out there and whatnot. But like you said, like, I'm not going to judge you. If you want to go to a restaurant and live your life, and go for it, but then don't turn around and tell me that you shouldn't be wearing your mask. Why are you still wearing your mask? You don't need to, So exactly. I think the next couple of months are going to be a really tough time again, because it's like in the beginning of the pandemic where we had all the people who didn't believe in it, and those that, had it and they were like, no, this thing is real. I think we're going to go through that again for the next couple of months until we kind of start to kind of even out here. So I think it's going to be tough. And I think that's something else that a lot of people have to deal with, because that was, my client was worried about, like, I want to go back to work, but I want to wear my mask, and I was like, so there's all these like crazy emotions and thoughts around everything. And again, it just goes back to like being true to who you are and not being afraid about it.
Well, exactly. And I think that this is one of those, we're all in different spots. And and when I said that people, should get the vaccine, I'm talking, obviously, if you have a medical condition that's telling you that you shouldn't, then don't get it, obviously.
Right.
There are circumstances. I'm saying these people, my freedoms are being infringed on.
Yeah.
And, okay, well, then fine. Then isolate. And if they want to do that, that's fine. But then I don't want to hear you complain if you get COVID.
Right.
And I don't want to hear you complain that nobody wants to be around you either.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that too. So you do have the right to not get it. Obviously, there's no the government's not telling you it's not a law that you have to get it. But then if you get COVID and then you get your family sick, I don't want to hear you complain about it. That's all. I guess that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't like that. But again, everybody's in a different place, and I would never. I mean, a year from now, somebody still wants to wear a mask. Wear the mask. I don't care. Wear the mask because that makes you feel good, and if you like it, even if you don't need it, wear it.
Wear it.
Whatever. I don't care. It's not doing anything to me. Let me ask you this. The other thing too is, and you and I we talked about this because it was a social media thing. There are certain social cues that they're violated even pre-COVID, right? The person who, and I guess they're all different definitions of social cues, right? I guess the sort of blunt way of saying is take a freaking hint.
Yeah.
Like, right. You can see I don't want to talk to you. So can you please leave? Right. That's a social cue, I guess. I'm just saying that in a blunt way. I'm not saying I don't personally say that to people, but I feel like more and more people are violating maybe it's not even social cues. Maybe it's, I think it is. It's boundaries, maybe.
Personal
Eh,
space,
Personal,
boundaries.
and I don't necessarily always mean physical space.
Mhm.
Now with digital media and social media, there is a violation, I think, sometimes of people's digital space as well. It's not
Oh
just
yeah.
somebody at a bar who decides to come and slobber all over you, right?
Yeah.
So what should we be looking for again? And I understand some people are just very much aware of social situations, and other people are just beyond socially awkward. They have
Yeah.
no
It's just
idea.
life. It's just life, right?
And I get it. And many times it's not being done in a vindictive, malicious way. Just some people just don't, they just don't understand. They just don't get it. I understand that.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. What are some social cues that, and maybe, some of these boundaries that we should be aware of? Give me like a couple.
Yeah.
And then if they are being violated, because you're such a nice, friendly person, how can we not make somebody feel like,
Oh,
how can we not make somebody feel horrible about themselves? And
yeah.
but let them know that back off.
I love that. I'm such a nice and friendly person.
Well, you did
I
well.
am. I am.
I,
But I'm very forward and I'm very blunt and I'm very transparent, like I said. So here I'll give you a very personal example, and I think you actually commented on it from LinkedIn.
I
So
did.
LinkedIn is a very, it's a professional platform, and I think like I don't know what the heck is going on with this hair over here. It's all good, whatever.
It's okay. My nose is still running. I start to
Whatever.
ignore it.
So uh, like any social media platform, LinkedIn has become more, everybody's just posting whatever they want. It's mostly on the professional business side, but then you get some crazy random posts out there that's political and whatnot. And
Right.
so you follow my content. I'm pretty much across the board. I'm all about your mindset and empowering and being your life cheerleader. I love that. And I'll post something, and all of a sudden in my private messages, I'll get mostly men saying, "Hi." That's it. Hi. And I'm like, "Oh God, here we go again." Like, hi, what do you want? It's gotten to that point where you're just like, oh. So basically, I'll just write, "Hi, thanks so much for connecting. If there's anything I can ever do for you, check out my website. Glad to help. Let me know.
Right.
How are you?" And then I'm like, "How are you?" So then I write back, "I'm fine, happily married with 2 children, living a wonderful life. How are you?" So I basically, that's just where I have to go sometimes, because where it's going. And I had one gentleman on this post that you saw. He just went right, "Oh, I saw your post on Instagram. Aren't you single and looking for someone?" I said, "No, you have the wrong person. I never
Right.
post about that." And it's just, I had 2 in one day on LinkedIn. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm like this amazing goddess, like I don't put that vibe out there, but
Right.
some people just have, like you said, they just cross the boundary, like just right away. It's like, go to Tinder, man. Like, if that's what you want, go somewhere else. Don't
Right.
come here and don't do that, especially if I'm not putting that vibe out. And it's like that just in life. And I think there's going to be even more of a personal social awkwardness now, because we have been in quarantine and we're not out socializing. And you even see it, if you go to the grocery store wearing a mask, people are looking down, like people, all of a sudden we've lost eye contact. And I'm the type of person that, with or without a mask on, I'll look up at you and say, "Hi, how you doing today?"
Right.
Or
Right.
I used to just smile and give a nod. It's just having kind of that connection, and we've lost it. So yes,
Yeah.
there's going to be this crazy awkward socialness, the thing that like people just don't remember how to act with each other. But I think in time we'll get there. And I think, if you can just remember that when you smile at somebody, you don't have to say anything, but you make eye contact and you smile at somebody, it can change their whole day. So if you can start that little spark, it's going to carry on, and it's going to, by the time you're done, you're not even going to know it. But that one smile you gave somebody is probably going to change 10 people's day for the better.
Right.
So
It's a good point, and we need more of that now. I know it sounds like Pollyanna, but you know, especially, and it's funny too, because the masks have been very interesting, because even as the masks, I think people almost feel like that's a shield. It's like the masks have been like a social shield.
Mm-hmm.
You can see people's eyes. You can't see their faces. So now we're going to go on. It's basically been a faceless society.
Yep.
And it's a big difference when you take the mask off. Sometimes I've been out in public before, and I'll see somebody that I know, and maybe somebody I don't really care to, you know, or don't have time. And it's like, great, they don't recognize you. It's like you're invisible, but it's weird. We've been in a faceless society, and now we're going to go out. And let's also just be very clear. If you see Jen out and she smiles at you, it doesn't mean she wants to go on a date with you. Right. I'm saying for anyone, male, female, whatever. A smile does not mean does not give you the a free ticket to start acting like a buffoon, whatever.
Exactly.
And with the whole LinkedIn thing, right?
Yeah.
To anybody who's out there listening, stop, please. Stop. It's for business. I'm sorry, and I'm going to judge that. It's not a date. It's not a dating website.
Nope.
And it's not even it's not even really to post pictures of your kids. I mean, come on.
Did you see on that post? Did you see the comment I had? I think there was 2 or 3 men that said they also have had it happen. So it's not just women getting hit on.
No, it's not. It's right. It's both. That's okay. I have not experienced that. Apparently I need a new headshot on there, because I'm not getting any of that. I'm getting nothing on that.
You don't want it. It's just I
don't know what it is, but that's
not
fine.
welcome. It's creepy, and you don't want that.
It is creepy. And although actually, if they want to listen to the Eye on Life podcast, I'd be happy. I respond to everyone.
Absolutely.
So if you like the Eye on Life podcast, listen, follow, share. I'm talking to Jen Collings here. I do want to. So much for my half hour, keeping the show to a half hour. But I do have one more. Question for you, because we've covered everything. You talked a little bit earlier about, sort of stepping out of one's comfort zone. And I think on your website, I know it's you mentioned something about either taking the full dive in or taking the dip, right? Dipping the toe in there.
Yep.
And I have always been a big believer, socially, personally, professionally, that the only way to grow in life is to experience some form of discomfort.
Yeah.
And there are certain things, even like we going back to what we were saying about kids before. I don't want my kids to make every single team. I don't want my kids to make I want them to see what it's like to have disappointment. Mm-hmm. It's not comfortable. It's not pleasant, but I think it's so important, because otherwise you don't grow. So I guess my question to you is, and everybody has a different definition of what a comfort zone is. Somebody maybe stepping out of their house could be stepping literally out of their comfort zone.
Yep. Other
people, it might be skydiving, right? Or bungee jumping. I don't know if people still bungee jump, but that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
So I guess my question is, someone who is we're coming out of the pandemic, for lack of a better word, coming out of the pandemic. It's not done. We're not done with it, but we're starting to normalize a little bit.
Yeah.
How mentally, physically, whatever that comfort zone means to you, what's the best way to sort of conquer that, to tackle it, to take that next step?
So let me say this. Somebody asked me, it's about a week and a half ago, what is my definition of success? And I said failure. Because when we fail, we learn. And so getting ready to step out of our comfort zone means we have to try to do that one thing or those multiple things that scare the crap out of us, and know that we're going to fail. And there's nothing wrong with failure, because failure allows us to look at it differently and go at it differently. But the main thing is we have to keep trying. So whether, like you said, it's stepping out of your house, or it's jumping out of an airplane and parachuting, or applying for that job that you just think that you are not qualified for, but you in your heart feel it and you want it. Whatever it is, do it. Don't be afraid to do it, because if we've learned anything in the past year, we have no idea what tomorrow's going to bring. So why not give life all we've got and go after it, and just keep learning along the way? Because really that's all this is we are just constantly learning and we're learning through failure, and we are learning through trial and error. And, we're not just going to step out of our house and get it right every single time. Maybe 1 in a million we will, but for the most part, we're not. And we have to remember that goes for every single one of us, And I think another thing with, stepping out of our comfort zone is not being afraid to learn from people who have been there, done that, and can teach you and help you along the way. So there's a couple things to that. So don't be afraid to fail, and ask for help.
And I would also say to that point also, it's okay to feel a sense of vulnerability as well.
Absolutely.
Vulnerability does not equate to weakness. And I say that as someone who used to feel that way.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do.
I think
a lot of people do.
Well, again, feeling vulnerable is not comfortable.
Right.
In fact, that's vulnerability is actually the very definition of discomfort, right? You're feeling vulnerable. Nobody likes to, I don't think most people, nobody goes out and says, I want to feel vulnerable today.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too. And I want to get before we wrap up here, I want to get your thought on this, because I said to a friend of mine recently, and I had to clarify what I meant when I said this, but I'm 46 years old now.
Yep.
And I said to the person, I said, at this point in my life, I am what I am. Mm-hmm. And I was very clear though when I said that I didn't mean to say that I'm unwilling to change. I'm done learning. I know everything. Saying that on its own is very easy to say. Well, this guy obviously thinks he's perfect. He doesn't want to change. He doesn't want to learn. That's not what I meant. What I meant was that I feel comfortable failing. I feel comfortable learning more. I know what my imperfection. I know I am very aware of what my imperfections are. I have plenty of them, and if I forget what they are, my kids remind me of them immediately. So that's never an issue. But that's what I meant. So when I say I am what I am, there's some people that might say I am what I am and I'm not changing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I am what I am. I feel comfortable in my own skin, I guess is what I mean when I say that. Everyone is a work in progress, and life is clearly the ultimate classroom. But does that make sense what I'm saying? I mean,
absolutely.
It's not an arrogant thing at all. It's just
it's not. I think that is a gift that you are comfortable in your own skin, because that's what I help so many of my clients become comfortable in their own skin, because they're not, they're not comfortable where they are in their life at the time that they reach out to me. And I get them to that point where we can say, hey, you know what? I like who I am, and I like that I want to change, and I like that, I'm okay with who I am. And if other people don't like it, then that's their problem, not my problem. Right. That's theirs. And I think, life lessons and age have a lot to do with that. And I can see the difference when I have a younger client to an older client. You can say, oh, you've been through more lessons. You get it. You're comfortable being who you are. I've stopped dyeing my hair through this pandemic. And in the beginning, this was so hard for me. I guess it was a vanity thing, and I didn't even realize it. And now I'm like, I kind of like the gray. I'm okay with it. Like, I'm going to be 45 in June, and I'm good with it. But that comes with being comfortable with you as a whole package, inside and out. And it's not vain at all for you to say that. It is a gift for you to be able to say that. And I think most people hope that they can get to that point in their life.
Well, I get, I have perfected the art of imperfection. So I think
perfectly imperfect.
I'm sorry?
I am perfectly imperfect.
Exactly. And when again, I every day I make mistakes. Mm-hmm. As a parent, as a person, I do. I make mistakes every day, and I just try to grow from those. But I'm also comfortable with the mistakes. They're not. When I say they're not fatal mistakes,
right?
And I even say to my, on the business side of what I do, I always tell my clients, I said, we constantly learn. I'm not going to sit here. Anybody who sits down with a client or a prospective client says everything's going to be perfect, I think is very disingenuous. That's what the client may want to hear, but it's not. I feel like that's disingenuous. So I say we're going to learn together. There's going to be things that happen. We're going to not dwell on things. We're going to try to perfect things as much as we can and constantly improve, continuous improvement, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and say everything's going to be perfect. I can't guarantee that. I can't tell you that an email that you send me doesn't go into spam and I don't get back to you within an hour like I said I was going to. I can't guarantee that.
Yeah.
You know, so anyway, it's been great having you on the show again. Hopefully you'll be a regular contributor. I guess that's what they call them now.
I would love to be. Thank you.
You've been great. And believeyourtruth.com. And I know I do seriously recommend following you on social media. Where can people find you on social media, Jen?
Thank you. LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. TikTok's more fun. So if you want to giggle a little bit, that's TikTok. And then I have a Facebook page as well. So I'm all over the place.
Married with 2 kids. So do not go there, LinkedIn. Do not go there. She'll put you in your place if you say hi to her. We know where that's going.
Just remember that.
Let's just remember, okay? When you say hi, we know where you're going. We're not stupid.
Yeah, we know.
How are you?
I've got you.
If somebody says, I'd like to learn more about your services, that's maybe a different. And then maybe at some point, then they really don't want to learn more about the services, but at least don't just say hi. We know what that means.
Exactly.
But thanks so much for joining us again. It's always insightful.
Well, thanks for having me.
I could talk to you all day. It's very
I know.
Genuine, and you have to get back to your kids. So
it's all good. Yeah.
Again, follow Jen on social media. Follow believeyourtruth.com. And again, it's not just a website. Actually believe your truth in life. In the meantime, as we sort of, again, I use the word normalization, as we start to hopefully normalize life and get back out there, live music, hopefully live music on the way here. We got some live music coming up this summer. I see there are concerts that are going on, sporting events, but keep an eye on your health, keep an eye on your loved ones, keep an eye on Jen, and believe your truth. And until next time, and as always, keep an eye on life. Thanks so much.